So, me talking about this game was kind of inevitable. I've been excited for it for a long time. I'm not a Nickelodeon guy in the slightest, but as soon as I found out it was being made by Ludosity, I knew I had to get my hands on this game, and the more footage I saw and the more things I heard, the more and more I needed it in my life as soon as possible. And I can confirm, I fucking love this game. So, let's get into why. Now, one thing I want to make clear right off the bat is that a ton of stuff in this game is subject to change. This game has a pretty small dev team, but they make up for it by being really fucking cool. They are super transparent, they listen to the community, and they've made it very clear that in 6 months to a year, this could be a completely different game. So far, we've already had our first patch 4 days in, and it's done a lot of great stuff. Removed infinites, removed stalling glitches, it's great. Also, I do want to stress, this is not a guide. I will talk about the game's mechanics, but I'm not going to go super in depth. These videos are less about teaching you how to do thing and more, hey, here's thing. Here's why I think it's fucking neat. So, do keep that in mind. I have to be completely honest though, during my first hour or so with this game, I was pretty worried because I really didn't like how the game felt. Once it clicked with me, I fell in love with the gameplay, but I think the reason I really didn't like it at first was because the game is just way more different from Smash than I was expecting. It's nothing like any other platform fighter I've played, and I think that's a great thing. It gives the game a great sense of identity. I think the people who are going to get the most out of this game are people who are already fans of platform fighters in general looking for something new. Because of this, I think the best way to go about this video is to look at some of the stuff that's significantly different from Smash and give my thoughts on it. I do have a few small gripes with the game, but they're not gameplay related so much, so I'm going to save them to the end. To me, one of the most interesting things about this game is that it doesn't use analog input like Smash does. In Smash, if you hold your control stick a tiny bit to the left or right, then you'll just walk slowly. But in this game, it doesn't matter. You're either not going left or right, or you're going left and right. The game basically has 8 directions, and you're either pressing them or you're not. The downside to this is that some stuff you might be used to in platform fighters like Smash just kind of isn't here, so it might take a bit of getting used to. There's no tap jump. You can only jump with jump. Which makes sense. Tap jump just kind of wouldn't work in a game like this. To drop through a platform, you have to hold down and press jump, which takes a little bit of getting used to. And to run, you just hold left or right until you see this little smoke cloud. The upside to this is that the game works amazingly on a massive variety of controllers. I play on Fight Stick and it feels fucking incredible. I understand that, that's not going to be for everyone, but I love it. I might be a bit biased since I've never been a fan of tap jump, but I do think this was worth it. Unlike Smash, where you can have 3, 4, or 5 of each kind of move, in this game, no matter what kind of move it is, you have 3 variations. Mid, up, and down. There's no forward tilt, forward air, back air, or even side special. You might think strong attacks are kinda like Smash attacks, and in a way they are, but 1, you can't charge them, and 2, they're a completely separate button, and you have air variants. There's even a strong dash attack. Dash attacks take a little bit of getting used to. When you hold a direction long enough, you'll see this little puff of smoke behind you. If you input an attack before that appears, you'll just get a mid attack. So you have to wait until you see the smoke before you input a dash attack. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and it means for the most part, you can't really do instant dash attack. But to balance it out, on hit, dash attacks cancel into anything.
Perfect.
This feels fucking amazing, honestly. It's always really fun to do. This is the kind of thing that sounds really overpowered, but a lot of this game's neutral and combat in general is air focused, so it's okay to have such a powerful option on the ground. I think it fits right in. Something interesting about strong attacks in this game is that there's sort of an RPS system built into them. Certain strong attacks will lose to other strong attacks and stun the user who lost the encounter. For example, mid strong attacks will lose to down strong attacks. Down strong attacks will lose to up strong attacks. And up strong attacks will lose to mid strong attacks. If you do a strong attack with hitboxes enabled, you'll see this little pink circle. This comes out before the move's actual hitbox, and I believe this is what decides the rock, paper, scissors system. Also, if you're wondering, strong dash attack doesn't have one. Admittedly, this is the first thing we've talked about that I'm not, like, in love with. It's fine, I don't have an issue with it, I just kind of forget it's a part of the game a lot of the time. There are some aspects of it I really like though. I like that up beats down, I think that's cool because a lot of characters in this game have down strongs that spike at the ledge, and you can use an air up strong to counter that. It's a shame I couldn't show that specific example at the ledge, but I don't have 4 hands. Sorry. Next up, I want to talk about how guarding works in this game. It's kind of like Smash in a way, where you hold down a button and you protect yourself. But unlike Smash, there's no shield, so you can just hold it as long as you want. You're not going to get shield broken the same way you would in Smash. To counteract this, of course, it loses to grabs, but on top of that, if you get pushed back to the ledge while shielding, you'll enter a state called teeter, where you're completely vulnerable. I think this is pretty cool, it's a neat way of handling defense. Even if you're nowhere near a ledge, you can't get too predictable. Grabs are really good in this game. It is worth noting that guard is kind of all you have. There's no spot dodge, and there's no rolls. But, unlike Smash, there's no cooldown for dropping your guard. So it's a lot easier to act out of. Guarding has 3 different variations, each with their own color. If you just hold down guard and block an attack, you'll flash black. In a way, this is the weakest form of guarding. If you hold in the direction of the opponent's attack as you guard, you'll flash yellow. This gives you less pushback. You can also get this by timing your guard to the last possible moment. If both of the criteria for yellow guard are met, you'll flash blue, which is essentially a parry. Overall, I love how guarding works. I was a bit skeptical when I first saw it. It looked like it was going to be super weak, but no, I think it's great. There's nothing I'd change about it. It's a really fun system. I enjoy parries because, you know, parries. It's great. And technically, I've never pulled it off myself, but since this game has parries, and dropping guard has no recovery, does that mean this game technically has option select parry? Technically, right? It is worth mentioning though that this game doesn't have any kind of air blocking or air dodges. If you press guard in the air without inputting a direction, nothing happens. But if you input it while holding a direction, that's your air dash. Which is great, but it doesn't have any invincibility. Outside of character-specific stuff, there's no invincible air options in this game. It's kind of like Smash 64. And speaking of the air dash, it's like my favorite fucking thing in any video game, just ever. Like, what the fuck? It should be physically illegal for a game mechanic to be this fun. Like, this makes the game. If this game did not have air dash, I wouldn't give a fuck. But it's got air dash, and that makes it the most fun video game of all time. For real though, there is so much you can do with wave dashing in this game. First off, it's kind of how you fast fall. The downwards air dashes have way more velocity, and more importantly, you can input them during the animations of your air attacks, which is amazing. It's really, really fun. On top of the fact that it's just sick as fuck, this is a really smart way of handling fast fall in a game with digital only inputs. Although it does mean that combos that require fast falling are very, very input heavy. When air dashing out of an aerial attack, you can only air dash down, not diagonally down. You don't feel this too much with your air, light, and strong attacks because they don't lock your momentum. But with your special attacks, you're really gonna feel it. Air dashes are also amazing for recovery. They're like a really versatile triple jump, so you can use it just to extend your recovery, or to mix it up. Air dashing also enables wave landing and wave dashing. But how wave dashing in this game works is pretty interesting. See, this game doesn't have any jump squat, your airborne frame 1. So there's kind of a macro for wave dash. You hold a direction, and you push guard and jump at the same time. That's all there is to it. And honestly, it's really fucking easy, but I think that's great. This game is already really mobile, people moving fucking all over the place, mainly thanks to air dash and stuff. So like, wave dash being this easy is fine. It fits, it works in the context of the game. I love this. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Do keep in mind though, that once you enter the air, you have one air dash. And you don't get another until you land on the ground or grab the ledge. You gotta be smart about it. If you air dash towards your opponent, you're not gonna be able to do a fast fall aerial. If you air dash into your opponent and then get knocked away, you're not gonna be able to use your air dash to recover. Speaking of the ledge, it's kind of interesting in this game. You're probably familiar with a lot of the options you have from ledge. You can get up from ledge normally, you can get up attack, or you can roll. But you'll notice that when I'm grabbing the ledge, I'm not getting any invincibility. See, if you grab the ledge yourself, you'll get no invincibility. But if you grab the ledge after being launched by an opponent, then you will get invincibility. I think this is a neat idea. Another interesting movement option this game has is strafing. Normally, when you turn around, you turn around. But you can also turn around in the air, unlike Smash. But if you hold down strafe, you will always face the direction that you were facing when you held down strafe. Admittedly, I hold this down too much. I just really like how it feels. It feels good to wall the opponent out. Also, something I really appreciate is that every character has a unique animation for when they walk backwards while strafing. It's not just their normal walking animation, which would look kinda janky. A lot of people give the animation in this game shit, so I do want to give it credit where it's due. This is a nice touch. So that pretty much covers all of the game's movement to some degree, and I gotta say, I think the movement is the single best thing about this game. It is ridiculously open, it is ridiculously fun, and for the most part it's not too hard either, which is nice. If you want to incorporate attacks and stuff, such as, you know, combos with fast falls, then yeah, that can get pretty heavy. If you want to get really good at this game, Jesus, look after your hands, honestly. But I fucking love this game's movement. It is a miracle, honest to God. Next up, I'm going to talk about grabs. Grabs in this game are interesting.
That's gotta hurt.
Throws in this game are sort of universal. They seem to all do 6%, and they don't have unique animations like they do in Smash. You just throw the opponent down, forward, or up. Also, you might have noticed that there, but you can grab people off the ground. And in the air. If you throw someone in the air, then it does 5% instead of 6%. Admittedly, I don't use throws as much as I should, but they're dangerous. A lot of characters can kill pretty easily off them. That was like the shittiest throw combo ever. It probably wasn't even true, but like, you get the idea. Don't get grabbed. Just don't get grabbed, okay? Another really neat thing about grabs is that you can grab projectiles. This is really cool in my opinion. I never would have like thought of something like this, but it's really fun. On top of that, you don't have to throw the projectile back the way it came. You can throw it diagonally up or diagonally down, which is nice. That's cool. On top of being able to grab them, light attacks destroy projectiles, and strong attacks reflect them. This might make it seem like projectiles are too weak, and I understand why people might think that, but I think it's fine the way it is. There's a lot of counterplay to projectiles, but it's projectile counterplay in a really, really fast-paced game. If your opponent throws a projectile, they can just chase it. And if you're focusing too much on the projectile, chances are they're just going to come in and hit you. Now, those are most of the unique things about this game compared to Smash, and that honestly might not sell it. It's weird. You really kind of have to have this game in your hands to kind of understand, whoa, this shit is weird, different, and then give it an hour or two, and then you'll be like, wow, this shit is weird, different, and fucking cool. That being said, I do have a few small issues with the game, so we'll go over that now. The first thing I'm not huge on is a visual thing, and it's not really with how the game looks. I think the game looks and animates just fine. Like, yeah, not everything's perfect. Like, I've been showing SpongeBob off mainly in this video, even though I don't play him, just because he's one of the best looking characters in the game. I play a lot of Ren and Stimpy, and yeah, they have a few animations that are a bit weird, especially their strong up air. That one in particular is a bit rough. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on, even though I get what it's referencing, and that's pretty cute. I'd say like 98% of the moves in this game animate perfectly fine. Like, I know that's not perfect, but Jesus, it's a small team. And fuck, I've animated moves myself. This shit is hard. My issue with this game visually comes from hit stop. See, when you hit the opponent, it feels like they're frozen in hit stop for a very, very short amount of time, and that kind of bugs me. I think the game would feel like moves had a lot more impact if you increase that somewhat. I think they nailed it with strong attacks. They feel like they have plenty of impact. It's specifically with light attacks. I get that they are light, but it really does feel like they have little to no impact sometimes. I think increasing the hit stop would just go a really long way, not just from a gameplay perspective, but from a spectator's perspective as well. A complaint I've heard a lot is that a lot of the animations in this game make it feel like it's hard to know what the move actually is. And I think if you had more hit stop, you know, the game would freeze on that frame where the opponent gets hit a bit longer. I think that would do the world of good. Another small issue I have is in terms of audio. I think the game's audio design is just fine. I thought I'd find the wave dash sound really annoying, but nah, I like it. The music isn't great. There's some really good tracks, there's some really meh tracks, but that doesn't bother me personally, because when I play fighting games, with the exception of Strive, I just turn the music off anyway and play my own. The issue with the game's sound that I have is the hit sounds. There's not a massive variety of them. And as you can see, I'm hitting the opponent with a sword, but it's making a sound effect like they're getting punched. I think more hit sounds will go a long way. Also, I know everyone and their mother has talked about how this game doesn't have voice acting and would really benefit from voice acting. But like, we knew it wasn't going to have voice acting, we know why it doesn't have voice acting. Would it be nice? I guess, but you gotta understand that getting voice acting in a game like this is a financial and legal fucking nightmare. If it does somehow get voice acting down the line, neat. If it doesn't make a difference to me. Another issue I have is with the game's online. The online is good. It's definitely not terrible by any means. It is rollback after all, but it's not the best rollback in the world. From what I've heard, it's a lot like the new Melty Bloods. It's kind of janky. When it's good, it's really, really good. Input lag feels really low, and like 9 times out of 10 when I play with people I know in lobbies, it's fucking fantastic. But if something goes wrong, you're really gonna feel it. From what I understand, this is something like one-sided rollback. I'm not entirely familiar with how it works, but Jesus, the rollback in this game was apparently done by one guy, so props to him, but yeah, there's a few things that could use ironing out for sure. Another issue I've had with the online is this stage. It tends to stutter a lot when I play online, which is a massive shame. It looks great, it's got a nice layout, and in my opinion, out of all the legal stages, it's got the best music. It's a fucking bop. I think this is due to how many visual effects it has going on. Either way, I hope it can get sorted, because I'd love to play on this stage more than I do. The last issue is not really an issue I have, but it's more of a concern, right? This game's base price is €50. I got it for 40, and I feel like I thoroughly got my money's worth. But again, I'm not a Nickelodeon fan. I bought this game because I wanted a really fucking fun fighting game, and Jesus, I got it. But I'm the kind of guy who's gonna find 2 or 3 characters he likes, and then go play on the same 4 stages again and again and again. That's what I want to do, and I'm doing it, and I'm having a shit ton of fun. But I understand that's not everyone who might be interested in the game. I think if you're a fan of fighting games or platform fighters, you're gonna get a ton out of this game, but if you're just a Nickelodeon fan, looking for a Nickelodeon game, geez, I don't know. There's not a lot of single player content at all. There is stuff to unlock, but, you know, it's not anything that substantial. Like, I wanted this game because I thought it looked fun, and it is, but again, I'm not a Nickelodeon fan. I know my SpongeBob, I watched the fucking Wild Thornberrys movie. That's like it. I don't know who the fuck Daniel Poltergeist or Imposter Tim are. If you're buying this game because you love Nickelodeon, you might end up being a bit disappointed. Do I have issues with this game? Yeah, a few. But like, the dev team is actually listening. They are aware of issues people have with the game, and like, is there a lot of content? No, but we know that the first 2 characters, stages, and whatever comes with that is gonna be free. This is not me sitting here going, oh, this game sucks, but if I throw enough money at it, maybe game will be good. No, this is a great fucking game, and I am all for continuing to play it, continuing to support it, and watch it become an even greater one, and I hope you are too. Also, this game is great, but you know who isn't? Patrick. He is probably the worst character in the game. He's not very good, and that's a shame because he's a nice little guy. But you know what else begins with Pat and isn't bad? My Patreons. Aha, there they are. Yeah, they're great. They are very nice. Thank you very much for supporting me. It really means a lot, especially because there's nothing substantial locked behind my Patreon. It is just a means to support me, so I really do appreciate it. Also, all of you could probably beat Patrick one-on-one in a fight. Not that you would, because you are cool and nice. Thanks.